Okay. I think you should be seeing and hearing us now. If not, let us know.
Cool. So just doing some recap, I'll say a few things about my group, but Catherine and Avery, I'd be interested to hear what happened in your groups. We had a lot of great conversations talking about running this virtually and issues that may come up, great ideas people had. Ariana from NYPL, I had a great NYPL group. Not only NYPL, but Ariana from NYPL was talking about how to incorporate like a speaker into the series. Romy from NYPL was talking about like safety and liability and how to do this like in a more concealed environment. So they talked about creating like your own ecosystem and your own like box for people to interact with, and then also encouraging home collects as well right now. Carol Ann told me about this great resource that I did not know about called Google Drawings, which maybe a lot of you did know about, but it's I don't know much about it yet because I have not used it, but it's a way to collaborate on like animated systems so people can sort together on the screen. And it also, she said, has the feature to like link out through a picture, so you could link to more information about one of the things you're sorting. And yeah, people just had great ideas. And one issue or one thing we talked about at the end was like the issue of sharing when you're doing this in an asynchronous setting. So I'd be interested if people in the chat from other groups had thoughts on that. But Avery and Catherine, what happened in your groups?
Yeah, so I can share out some ideas we had. Sort of similarly, we had a mix between ideas for running it virtually, but also ways to remix the existing programming. So Lisa had a great idea, which was doing like an Instagram live or a series of Instagram polls. So you could do like, do you think it's biotic or abiotic? And use an Instagram poll for that. Or just doing like an Instagram walk basically on the Instagram live and going around and showing off what you're finding.
Sounds awesome.
Like a remedy for that synchronous thinking. We are also trying to brainstorm. We didn't have any like specific tools to necessarily do this, but thinking about like, if you are the facilitator and you have a collection of objects, is there like a platform where people can see your hands or your own sorting and people sort of crowdsource and decide where you place an object?
Cool.
And
like
so,
a live sort.
Yeah, like a live,
like where people could vote or something.
That's
kind of cool.
Like that.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any ideas on that, let us know in the chat. And then just some other quick ideas we had for the actual workshops. Jackie had the idea of, for older learners, after you complete a sort, use some kind of like data visualization tool like color mapping. Just take your sort of one step further. Blaine had an idea of taking a very simple collection of 10 objects and giving that to the same groups and then discussing like how different groups interpret it differently. And the last thing we talked a lot about was sort of the social dimensions of the work, and Jean and Heather had mentioned how to connect this to local populations. How do you track the plant species that you find and sort of use those as lenses for discussing like community, the social dynamics of the community, and basically what you can find in your ecosystem.
Cool.
Really cool.
Catherine, were you in a group? Were you in a tech group?
So I was in the tech support room, and I'm happy to report that I was alone the whole time. So
Nice.
Even though that was a little sad, that for me personally, I figured maybe everyone sort of sorted out their issues with maybe the video. So next week, hopefully I'll hop in a real breakout group and get to chat with more of y'all.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna check the chat.
Yeah, the chat had the idea of doing TikToks.
Oh, cool.
Great, I'm gonna start doing a little, oh, you can't see with my background, I was going to maybe start to do a little dance. I love that, keeping things relevant. Oh, definitely. I think responding to Kira's comment, this is like a great intergenerational program, and I would be interested to see like maybe how parents and their children might sort the same things differently, or might have different like systems for sorting. That would be interesting. That'd be cool.
This is also, I really like this activity. I really like this activity because the things that the patrons are creating, like the custom sorts that they're doing at the end, are like, they tend to like really turn out really beautifully. Like they make really compelling, like sort of beautiful, like they're almost like pieces of art themselves. And I feel like I could imagine either virtually, like sort of like a gallery, or maybe like a way for people to share like really cool like photos of their sorts, or even maybe like if this is a program that is eventually able to be run in person again, there could be like even a gallery at the library somewhere, or like an installation where like photos of like the sorts that people did were like hung up for like other people to engage with. I don't know. I think that's something I also like about the sort of come together activity at the end where you discuss the sorts, is that it creates like a really cool shareable artifact that can live beyond the program.
Yeah, it's certainly quite a treat to get to see everyone's creations. I mean, it's fun to look in the slide deck too, and see everyone's pictures. It's very visually pleasing.
Yeah, we've loved seeing all the sorts that you guys are doing this week. It has been so much fun for us to see the things that you come up with. Definitely. And I think one of the things that we like to think about is like a way to assess like if our programs are like if an activity is designed well, is just sort of like how diverse are the different types of things that people create. Like we look for a diversity of outcomes when we come up with like these learning activity prompts. And I think one thing that we love to see was just how different and unique everyone's like ideas for their sorts were, even though they were sort of operating within the same constraints, like materials that you find in your house or neighborhood, backyard, a small number of things. Like everyone's thing turned out so differently. And that's something we love to see. And as a facilitator, I think that's something you can also strive for when you're running this activity with patrons.
Definitely. I was about to say something and I completely forgot what I was going to say. So I'm going to think for a second. But if you have anything else?
I can share one more idea that we've talked a little bit about. And again, if anyone has ideas on this in the comments, but there was a lot of interest around like mapping and like somehow using the sorts. I don't have any specific ideas in this, but somehow using the sorts that patrons complete and connecting it to mapping somehow. Whether that's creating your own map or using existing maps and tracking where you find things, which I'm super interested in. So if anyone has any ideas, let me know, because it sounds really cool.
That would be cool. That also reminds me of something we sort of talked about in a group, would be like if you all looked at the same thing online, like in a Google Street View or something, and you don't get to actually collect, but you can kind of sort from there digitally. And then you get the experience of this. Well, there's the sorting and there's like, you all have this shared landscape to look at.
Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to run a test of that, I would happily join to like see how it went.
Oh, yes.
So feel free to email us. We would love to help you test that out.
I would love to come to any of your programs, and well, specifically all of your programs. That sounds great. Definitely also, if you haven't had a chance to look at the group slides for this week, it's in the top text, and I would recommend you take a look because they're really cool. You all made some really cool things.
Amber had a great call on seasonal context.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
Amber.
That's cool. I have never thought about that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a great point is like this activity I think can work well, like it can be repeated even with the same group of students, right? Like if the season changes or if even just like different kinds of plants are coming out or different things, there's a new construction site near your library, like there's all these changes that are happening all the time that makes it such that like you can run this over and over again. And I think it still is an interesting activity.
Yeah. Great. Okay, I'm gonna check the chat for any more things and then we can start wrapping up unless anyone has anything else. Let's see. Oh, great. People are sharing some great resources in the chat. I will be certainly making sure to click those links once we're done. Great. I think, Avery, if you want to share the slide again with our events, we can just do a little reminder and wrap up. Yeah, whenever you're ready. Oh, I would also say if you have any like comments or feedback about these sessions, or like Catherine said, definitely let us know about your own sessions that you're running. We'd love to hear how they go. If we can work with you on it, we'd love to. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulty.
Oh, it's okay.
On the screen. I don't know why.
Oh, just a quick shout out. I see Athy said like we could use the sort idea as like also a way to do a community cleanup maybe of the library grounds. And I think that's like a pretty great idea.
Cool. Oh, great. You got it, Avery. So yeah, just to recap, we have next week our last session of Urban Ecology Online. And 2 weeks after that, we'll have Space Food Online. And we're going to try to have the dates next week for some future workshops that we would love to have you at. Thanks so much for being here. This is awesome, as always. It's the highlight of my week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week.
Great.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.